do exactly that. We are into the draft for Game 3, and immediately things changing up a little bit here for FLYQUEST. They're going to get rid of the Jason, the Silas, Cassio, Renekton once again for AL.
Does that mean that FLYQUEST want to run a Twisted Fate composition or something? Because Silas, it has been one of the big picks into the Twisted Fate, which a lot of teams have been banning and has been some priority.
Possible. If you do go for Twisted Fate first pick, though, with FLYQUEST have been banning Twisted Fate on the red side so far. If you go TF first pick, then Varus is left open for anyone's legend. So you are kind of trading some of the more powerful picks in the meta right now. Will AL read it the same way that you did and get rid of the Twisted Fate themselves? Because if they do that now, then Varus is open for FLYQUEST and they can just lock that in.
Yeah, let's see. Debating. They're debating right now which one they want to give over. The Poppy, okay.
Okay.
So it's available if they want the global, to make a global comp here. That would usually necessitate that you go like a top lane carry also with it, so you can teleport to it and get Masu on one of those carries. Okay, so they do indeed. Okay, Silas ban was the tell.
Twisted Fate locked in for quad. Will be the first time this spring that we have seen him bring it out. Anyone's legend, obviously the Varus is something that you immediately you think about. Just such a versatile and strong AD carry, whether you build him on hit or if you go for the lethality poke build that we often see. With the Jace banned away, though, you have a little bit less poke for AL overall. So they will just lock in the Varus, and then we'll see where they want to go with their second pick here.
Interesting. I mean, Annie is still available too, so there's like a lot of good pairings with the Wukong. If they went for Wukong early here, they could go like Annie or Aurora or something later on and look for one of those big bursty combinations that have become so popular.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense. Just thinking you could also go for the Akali just to follow the Twisted Fate Destiny.
Those plays are sick. Yeah.
They're always really fun to watch, but without the Silas, obviously you can't match. By hijacking away that ultimate. I do like the Wukong for Tarzan, one of his favored picks. There's the Jhin, and is that actually just going to be a Jhin Thresh straight away? That would surprise me if we saw Thresh this early on in the draft.
Yeah, I was gonna like theoretically try and cook some stuff for like if you are split pushing, then sometimes you can have these trailing lantern plays that can really help you out and keep the side lanes even more safe, but much more standard here. Go with the Alistar for Busio. This thing has so much value too, because when you have a Twisted Fate, you're thinking that enemies are gonna get things like Tenacity and Cleanse to deal with the stun. And so Alistar covers that. If your opponents are gonna be getting answers to those gold card stuns, then Alistar knockups have huge value.
Obviously Tenacity can't reduce airbornes, so you have extra time in the air. Azir is the lock for AL, so picking something that can push into that Twisted Fate. Obviously, Twisted Fate should be able to get some push early on. Red card and blue card allowing you just to do a lot of damage to the wave pretty quickly. But eventually, the Azir should be able to just constantly pressure through that mid lane. Nocturne, the second ban here from AL. Does make sense when you have the Twisted Fate. You want to get rid of some of those globals if you're playing into it at least. So that is where AL are going. Bard once again banned away by FLYQUEST. Obviously Bard really nice into Jhin and into the Twisted Fate.
And so it looks like we are going to be in the world where there's going to be really big scaling team fighting for AL versus can FLYQUEST do what AL did last game and get some early leads and split push. Them with the Twisted Fate, then with some long range there with Jhin.
How are they going to do it though? Because at the moment it feels like they just
do it
need
with the Nocturne, you know, for that extra global, so that was a good baron.
Yeah, the Nocturne, the Lee band away as well, but it's more of a... Usually you can see a way through the draft that FLYQUEST can get early leads. And at the moment, it's like, well, we don't get counterpick top lane. We don't get counterpick support because that's support's going to get locked in by AL, and we already have the Alistar anyway. So unless AL go for their top laner here instead of just picking support, which seems a little bit odd to me when you can just last pick, unless you think FLYQUEST are going to take the sign themselves.
Landre is very happy to play weak side tanks, no problem.
Okay. So I guess you do get counterpick top lane, and then you can try and play through top. Didn't work out too well for Bwipo in game 2, but AL have given them the option. Is Inspired going to crack out the Fiddlesticks?
It's got to be something spicy here from FlyQuest. This Twisted Fate as well hasn't found too much success yet.
Looks like they're going to go for the Cho'Gath first. Give a little bit more time.
Yeah, it's not that big. Obviously not like this big carry champion or anything. It's just good into other tanks. Can constantly like interrupt the Qs from Scion. Stack up.
Well,
So Inspired it's on Inspired to be a carry champion here.
Yeah, he really needs to be a carry, right? You need something that has good burst potential if you're going to play around mid, which is going to be hard because the Azir can just shuffle away. It's going to be Viego, which is a very strong carry, and if you start to get those resets, you can really take over a game.
Yeah, I mean, he did it in Europe, you know? It was that famous Viego play from him. So we'll see if he can do it here on the international stage. This comp here, they do have, lots of playmaking with the Twisted Fate, with the Jhin.
Remember, like, Shanks and Kyle have never been to an international before.
Yeah.
Some rookie nerves for these players. This entire FlyQuest roster, this is their third in a row, only missing out on first stand to TL earlier this year. They made last MSI and Worlds, where, as we like to say, they almost took down Gen G with some spicy picks. Here, Quad caught out with the Winter's Bite, but he's going to be stunned. Okay, that's a little bit more health than perhaps he wanted to lose.
Collapsing.
FlyQuest are looking to collapse Tarzan here across the wall, and we'll spot out the fact that Inspired and Whipper were on their way. The Sweeper gets Kyle and AL a couple of wards, whereas Busi only takes one down himself.
All right, so there's going to be time for the recall here, the reset for Quad. And they did clear out the ward, so a little information advantage there with the Raptor ward going down, but nothing too big. And again, this game is going to look a lot at, can AL scale into it? Can FlyQuest get anything done here with the Twisted Fate, with the Viego?
Where are we looking if we're FlyQuest? Because Inspired is pathing down towards the bot side, and my instinctual reaction is, yeah, go towards the people with lower mobility. Obviously, Varus, no mobility on that champion. It's one of the easier lanes to gank, but you also have a Braum there, which is always really hard to kill because of the passive with those concussive blows. So I think that's where Inspired is going to spend most of his early game looking for ganks.
Yeah, that and mid, quite possibly there. Get some setups. If you can open up Quad's mid lane here by throwing some ganks towards the Azir, maybe get a summoner spell or something like that, then it really does kind of snowball, because obviously when Twisted Fate gets to the level 6, then you can kind of transfer that power. So those two lanes, kind of the main lanes for possible options early on. And since Tarzan is pathing up towards the top side of the map, Inspired should be able to, look for bottom side Scuttle Crab and stuff like that.
I wonder if Tarzan has felt the trend of this series with Whippo dying early first in both the first two games. I think so. Maybe a first blood up there for me once again. Whippo, though, is going to be able to place a ward in the tri-bush here, so should be fine. It's pinged out by AL. Busio going in, looking for the knock-up onto Hope. Kyle goes back in with the Winter's Bite, but doesn't connect as Masu swiftly sidesteps it and avoids any concussive blows.
Trying to fight for a wave right now, too. They do get their level up.
Busio, good look for Kyle here. We'll get the knock-up onto him, and the roof follows up. Busio's going to be stunned up. Kyle has to flash away from Masu. Does land the Winter's Bite just beforehand. Inspired on his way across as well. Masu flashes away. Busio down to 100 HP. Hope still has a flash of his own, but Kyle does not. Another couple of orders from Inspired would be enough. And the long-range deadly flourish from Masu finds its mark. FlyQuest on the board.
Oh, there you go, Medic. FlyQuest who said they have to get stuff done early. They have to look towards the side of the map. They do, and they just barely have enough damage to get it done with the deadly flourish at the end to finish it off.
Huge from FlyQuest as well. He talks about snowballing, the ability to get Masu ahead, who has just been such a solid performer for them over the last couple of years. His Worlds 2024 was great. His season so far this year has been absolutely exceptional. If you can get him ahead on this Jhin, he can absolutely shred through AL. You need to also be able to get the rest of your team ahead, because eventually Flandre and Kyle will be too tanky for you to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, the power spike of getting that early serrated Dirk too is so nice for him. Now, on the support recall timers, though, we're going to have them meet up.
Lucio spotted out by Control Ward, and Kyle pings him out. Just trying to keep him away from his mid laner. Quad is on the losing side of a lot of trades in mid right now, as Shanks has built up about a 3 CS lead. Nothing too monumental right there. Whippo only just ticking over to level 5. If it was closer to level 6, might have kill threat on Flandre with that feast. Obviously doing a huge amount of true damage.
Yeah, and Lucio showing off his phase rush tech on the Alistar there versus Braum with their little support battle as well. But in the end, the ward stands. AL, they have their control ward there. So it is information that is known as well. They can go clear it out there. The pings go down.
So, with the junglers going through their second clears, Inspired will take out that control ward. Obviously stood for a little bit longer than they would have wanted it to. Shanks here might actually just be able to pick up a plate under Quad's nose. Inspired Spectrum Wars across the wall, I think just to make sure the Drake is there. It's one of those, we haven't seen Tarzan in a while, we don't have the best tracking on him, but because they know he's not on the Drake, they then immediately ping the Krugs and say, oh, he must be here right now, must have just gone for that full clear up towards top. Wukong
looking for his level 6, looking for his full clear here, so you can actually have some real nice combat power. Previous to that, of course, just looking for the smooth level ups. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, where we did have our early action, playing very respectful here as they move up.
Masu as well, going to be 11 CS up with 3 to play for here for Hope. So it's going to be about 7 or 8 when these waves are finally cleared out. On his way to that level 6 as well, will be there a little bit sooner than his lane opponent. Inspired pathing up towards top once again. Looks like he's just going to play for the Scuttle.
Yeah, I mean, they've got their level 6 Twisted Fate, so now is one of those dangerous times here for AL. They saw Twisted Fate kind of leak up to the top side, so bottom lane actually is free to push in, but they're looking for it. The level 6 Viego combining with the Twisted Fate to get the shove out on the lane, and that's what we're talking about as far as unlocking the Twisted Fate. Help them get the push on the lane, then you can transfer your pressure over.
Also just about denying vision in this Fog of War as well to allow Quad a little bit more flexibility. If he's on a ward, it's a lot easier for AL to just back away. Where if he's in the Fog of War, it's like, well, we could push up, we can try and get this wave, but maybe Quad is on his way down. If you can gank with the Twisted Fate without having to use the Destiny as well, more power to you. It gives you more tools in your toolkit for later on. Overall, FlyQuest out to a very mild early lead, about 400 gold ahead or so. Master's going to lose a couple of minions to this tower, but we'll still have a 3 CS lead.
Yeah, slowly but surely you heard an "ah" go out from the crowd. Doesn't quite get that one, but we will see about the Grubs. Right now, we're getting the swap early from AL. Sending Hope up there first. Kyle here on the roam is spotted. And we'll see if we actually have the fight, because Masu's still finishing up, pushing out that bottom wave that is going to get answered by the teleport. And Jin can kind of walk over. He has the early boot upgrade here, so with Boots of Swiftness, he can actually run over very quickly to get within range of Jin's ult.
Whippo doesn't have the teleport right now, but half the cooldown left on that. So if a fight happens in the next couple of minutes, it will be a 4v4 up towards this top side. Shanks is getting push in mid, building up towards that Nash's tooth. Hope holding the wave a little bit in the top lane, isn't shoving it out immediately as he sees the minions. Instead, just waiting to make sure that he has it pushed in at the timer that AL want to play for the Grubs.
And Flandre, since he uses teleport down bottom side, he pushes the wave and then looks for Scion ultimate. Him kind of hovering there through river, sees Inspired start up this Drake and try and go for the trade. So I wonder if they want to try and delay as well.
I think Flandre just wants to keep Inspired a little bit busy. See if you can distract him from the dragon, as the Grubs have been secured by AL. Inspired forced away, and the collapse coming in from AL means that the neutral objective trade will not occur.
Yeah, very good defense there from AL. Doing enough damage there with the dragon to be able to push Inspired off. Even with Whippo kind of walking up on over, they can't get the objective on the other side. So AL here looking pretty strong early on with the Fortress, even though the first blood went over to FlyQuest. Let's see if FlyQuest can get their Twisted Fate ultimate operational, if they can get their play onto the side of the map. Eventually they'll return to the Dragon after that delay.
Yeah, the first Destiny feels vital in this game, right? If you can get Masu a couple of kills, if you can get him 500, 600 gold ahead, we're in a really strong spot. Flandre here, Unstoppable Onslaught will slam into Bwipo. Spectrum more flashed away by the AL top laner. Inspired gets that summoner out with the help of Bwipo.
Yeah, I mean, Flandre has to respect the burst damage there with a Cho'Gath ultimate and with a Viego ultimate. So definitely necessary flash from him, but it does mean FlyQuest again didn't want to...
Destiny. They know that Kyle is not here. Hope flashes away. There's the cleanse, but the curtains have opened and swiftly will close on Hope as FlyQuest get their second kill on the board.
Masu hitting the first couple of shots there with the ultimate to get those slows after he cleansed out on the stun. Critical here in FlyQuest, getting a kill, getting a successful use of the Twisted Fate ultimate, and once again getting a little bit more money for themselves.
It's a 500 gold lead basically for Quad now in that mid lane. Obviously part of that from the TF passive as Busio is going to find Kyle, who went for that TP from the Unsealed Spellbook. Should be able to walk his way away from this one and does so with the help of Tarzan, just dashes to his jungler.
Meanwhile, pushing in on the other side as well. So Bwipo here on Cho'Gath gets bot side priority. Inspired though is clearing up to the top side, so once again, it's probably just going to be, fight over vision here after they push through mid lane and push on bottom lane. Inspired's got to, keep his farm up, stay strong in this one. So when they go for their big play, they'll be able to have enough damage to do so.
Busio kept around there. Quad likely just to TP up, and he does immediately to this top lane tower. The Destiny about half of his cooldown left. Hope unable to claim that second plate in mid as Shanks is kept around by the wild cards.
All right, there it is.
Yeah, the Triforce for Inspired. Is that what you were gonna?
Yeah, big power spike for him. That's that burst damage we were talking about for the big Viego play. Question is,
where?
Are they going to be able to rotate the Twisted Fate over out of vision of AL? Because there is decent, deep side red quadrant vision for AL. I believe Busio is clearing some of it out right now. He is retaking their red quadrant side at the moment, really trying to make a pathway for them to be able to pull this play off. Rotated, of course, Masu over to the mid lane here. Jin with a lot of reach, too, to be able to make that play. Shanks, though, just continuing to farm up. Big thing here for AL is keep the farm up on the Azir. Even with the nerfs, this champ scales so nicely. Okay, the Scuttle Crab, that's about it.
Yeah, it was just making sure that they secured it there. Didn't want Tarzan getting in. Busio knew, as you said, with the phase rush, that he can go in, headbutt pulverize, and then just run his way out. So happy enough just to make sure that Inspired is getting as much gold as he can. About a 15 CS lead, which is 4 camps, essentially. Quad's going to land the stun onto Flandre, not going to be able to work his way through that Soul Furnace shield. As you can see, Flandre already at 490 stacks on that Scion.
Flandre stacking up, Shanks keeping his farm up, as we said. He's over the 10 CS per minute mark on the Azir, and this champion just scales so well, so versatile. But FlyQuest here, again, looking for the mid priority first.
And I think if you're FlyQuest, you're really thinking about this dragon. You're saying, hey, how can we make things happen? Well, dragon stacking is one of the key ways of doing that. It's really late for a first Drake if you want to force plays before the 2-3 item mark on this AL lineup. So getting it now, getting it as soon as possible, or at least trying to make the tempo or trying to speed up the pace of the game a little bit would be really nice for them. AL, though, very happy on the resets coming out from FlyQuest just to take a Drake for themselves. It will be their first of the game, the first of the game in totality, and it will be an Ocean going into their back pockets.
The Fortress comp gets some extra little healing with the little Ocean Dragon as well. Nice for them. And a fairly late pickup on that Dragon means
13 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to be very far away from soul stacking. It is going to come down to the mid game. Can FlyQuest make any sort of avenue towards some of the towers here to open it up? Looks like committing Quad down to the bottom side of the map.
It's just really difficult for FlyQuest, right? Because Your hard engage is the Alistar, which does work really well with tower dives. If you can Destiny in as well, you do have a lot of hard CC, but there's enough wave clear on AL that they can just kind of clear the wave and walk away. And unless you are really forcing to make a play happen, it's a really tricky situation to be in. You're not far enough ahead as FlyQuest to be forcing these double tower dives, single tower dives, but you do need to keep the pace of the game a little bit more accelerated.
I mean, everybody's on first item right now, right? So they are, well, here we go.
Flandre, Unstoppable Onslaught away. And that's also an issue with it. Azir and the Sion can just walk away from your plays. Or run away, I guess.
Quad had spellbooked over to heal, so he was trying to run in front of the train to try and block the ultimate, but couldn't get that either. So a little slight swing and a miss there.
You do get the ultimate out of the Sion. No real objective to play for on that bottom side of the map right now. The Rift Hold had been started by AL, but it's just going to reset. Flandre's joined up here, the Destiny coming out. Looking behind here, Quad immediately has to flash. Regrets that decision, pretty sharpish. As now he's walking away. AL, and well, everyone's still full HP here, but I think with Quad not having that summoner anymore, FlyQuest a little bit less likely to take the fight.
Yeah, just poking around up here, still trying to fish to see if they can get any sort of angle, but Sion and Braum are quite good at blocking these plays. And then AL make the call, okay, fine, let's send Shanks immediately quicker up to the side lane, get more farm on the Azir, keep the Azir pushing, and nobody really exposing themselves for a pick.
It's always one of the risks when you play into very coordinated teams. Good silence there from Whippo. I won't be able to put too much more damage down. Is because you have voice comms, because you have played with these guys for so long, it's really easy just to call, hey, we don't know where the enemy jungler is, just back away. Just don't overstep, we can play the other side of the map. And you have trust in your teammates to play the other side of the map, whereas in solo queue perhaps you can't. TP coming down towards the bottom side, and Inspired is lying in wait.
Is this the beginning of the action? Here we go.
Shanks has the Emperor's Divide, will chase Inspired out. There's the Smite Spectrum, more for the Stun Heartbreaker available to him as well. And he dodges across. Inspired possesses his soul. Quad dies, but Inspired survives. And they get those 3 kills on the board. Inspired looking for the tower here as well for that feat of warfare as AL took the Rift Herald. Inspired should be able to take the turret, and that will be feats for FlyQuest. Rift Herald charging through mid, and the mid tier 1 will fall as well. AL about 5 seconds late to the play. FlyQuest claim the feats of warfare. They'll get another charge into the mid tower here. As Tarzan continues to push in. AL maybe just looking for the tier 2 here as Hope begins to open up as well. Masu can't defend, only has the Collector right now, and that's 2 quick towers over to the LPL #1 seed.
Yeah, those Void Grubs, the Void Mites doing a lot of work there. AL pushed down pretty heavily, grabbing 2 for themselves. So they got a bit of money back with the Azir going 1 for 1 under the tower, and then the 2 towers there investing Rift Herald. So they're keeping their economy up on their scaling team fight, despite FlyQuest going for the play onto the bottom side and getting a tower down, which they do need to open up this, this map to be able to play with. But Azir just kind of replants the tower.
Yeah. Just grows out of nothing as he puts the Sun Disc down. Obviously mid tower much better at opening up the map, gives you a lot more ways into the enemy jungle, can get that vision in a lot easier because you don't have to worry about coming back out through mid lane through the watchful gaze of those towers. Next dragon up in 30 seconds time. As we said, Sol very late in this game, but my expectation is now AL will be pretty comfortable with the way the game is going and can choose to play around these Drakes. And if FlyQuest really force into a play, AL could just back away and say, okay, you can take it. We don't have to take all of these dragons early on.
Yeah, definitely no necessity there because they've got so much comfort as it goes on. Meanwhile, like you're thinking maybe the Varus or something will overextend, but he's got his cleanse, he's got his flash ready. Easily push out mid wave, and since they have their own mid tower, easy rotation over here for AL.
Yeah, you can see how deep Masu has to stand in that mid wave to catch the wave, right? He has to be all the way back behind the Razor Beaks, as Busio perhaps looking for an engage here as the Drake is secured by AL. Kaio stepping forward, Chain of Corruption only onto Busio. He'll have the Unbreakable Will if he needs to pop it. Trample coming out as well. There's a Destiny behind them as Tarzan was the target, but they only find the clone. And FlyQuest invest the Destiny and don't find much out of it. Also, Whippo coming down from the top lane means that Sion will have a little bit of time with the tower. Inspired caught out with the smite. Sion actually TPing down. Whippo's going to join the fight as well with a teleport of his own. Tarzan with the Cyclone has to flash away. The knock up from Kyle is massive. Inspired falls before he can possess anyone. Shanks with the Ember Divide across the wall, but Busio's going to knock him back against the wall himself. Masu will get the kill onto Shanks alongside Whippo, but now it's only he and Whippo to defend against 4 members of anyone's legends. Whippo will fall, AL will find 4, only Masu stands tall.
Yeah, they tried to go for the reset. They sent here on Tarzan. Let's take a look at it. Inspired trying to get it, but he actually goes down first. So they use the exhaust. Tarzan buys time by flashing over, and Kyle comes in and saves Tarzan there, so they can't get their reset. And since the double teleport's on the bot side, nowhere for FlyQuest to go. AL is just so strong in this one. They didn't let FlyQuest any opportunities early on, and so they closed the trap here on the bottom side of the map now.
And that's what we were saying, right? Like, AL can choose the fight on their terms. Obviously, good play from Inspired at the start to try and get the kill, but as soon as it starts swinging AL's favor, it's so hard for FlyQuest to disengage.
Yeah, that might be big swinging point here for AL, because there hasn't been too much pressure put out by FlyQuest. AL were so good in answering a lot of the early plays, remaining calm, just keep on farming away. Now you've got your multiple items on so many members, both carries, on front Flandre as well, the mega front line. So FlyQuest here have to continue to look for something as far as the burst goes. Otacon will be the possibility here for somebody to make a play, but now, like, AL, they don't have to give you anything. Right now, they're going to keep their teleport Azir up on the top side of the map to be able to answer, and they're kind of just keeping watch, you know?
Just letting Shanks get up towards that third item. It's a cloth armor, so I assume it's going to be a Seeker's. We'll see if he finishes the entire Zhonya's. Tarzan looking for Inspired. There's a level deficit, but it's just because Inspired has been farming up his jungle so well. Tarzan very involved in the game so far. Next Drake in 2 minutes. It's Chem Soul for the first time this series. Last couple of games it's been Mountain. Busio jumped on, puts down the Unbreakable as Kyle is the one who's caught. Glacial Fisher coming out as well. Unstoppable Onslaught is only going to hit onto Whippo. Cyclone in, but Inspired's already killed off Kyle. And with Quad coming in with the Destiny, the knockback onto Tarzan as well. Flandre falling low. There's a feast available. Whippo flashes forward and he'll nom that Wukong. Shanks next up. Emperor's Divide coming out with the curtain call. Will spell curtains for him. FlyQuest have begun to fight back.
They found their pick. They start to get some kills, and that should be a rotation over towards Otacon. FlyQuest here really needing to make something happen, and they do when the pressure is on. That is some gold back for themselves. Can they turn it into the actual objective though? Flandre and Hope, they call for the teleport from Kyle. Braum is back.
I mean, but Whippo can just be a frontline. Spectral Maw coming out as well. Inspired trying to steal away Flandre, who has to flash away. Kyle now stepping forward, but AL realize they cannot contest the Otacon. FlyQuest get the neutral, get a small gold lead, and are back in this game.
The double collector team. Inspired had finished his collector. Masu also had his Lord Doms plus his collector. They actually go through the Braum, finishing it off for the first reset here. Whipple coming over, and the teleport answer there for AL does come in a little bit later, but the snowball to the fight already began with FlyQuest jumping on that pick, actually bursting down Kyle, and then making their rotation over. So let's see if the Otacon power here, the flower power, is going to be enough for them.
It's a big question, because everything we talked about in draft still stands. AL still have really good scaling. FlyQuest still need to be able to snowball games, or snowball the game a little bit, but we have seen if they can catch one person out, Inspired's resets throughout a fight can turn the battle on its head.
And the teleport from the Azir is a critical summoner spell, so that plus the money and stuff that they got in the last fight for FlyQuest might be something that they can leverage. They actually invest the teleport now from Whippo to get over here for the next Drake, but Flandre has his own to answer as well as his ulti, so if AL can get everyone there on time, it's going to be difficult for FlyQuest, and they want to look for a little bit more focus fire here if they can get anyone early.
See Flandre setting up for that unstoppable onslaught. Tarzan going the long way round back through his own jungle. AL don't really have much vision here. There's control ward in as Busio goes in. There's the Unbreakable. Glacial Fissure hits only onto the backline. Whipper looking for the piece. Kyle flashing out and Inspired's already down, so the resets are not on the menu here for FlyQuest. Whipper looking for the knockup. He won't land it, but he will sacrifice his life to keep Masu alive. Hope with a triple, and it is extinguished for FlyQuest.
Yeah, in the straight up 5v5 showdown, the stare down, that is going to be very difficult to snowball. Kyle is able to flash out there. You know, FlyQuest, they try and just go straight for their reset right on the front line and burst down the Braum again, but Kyle just flashes out. And so the fortress there for AL does stand strong this time around. They get their third dragon and they can move over to Baron.
It's also like Inspired was just so far forward that if he dies first, it doesn't matter if you get people low. It doesn't matter if you can feast someone and begin that reset train, because there's no one there to possess for the resets. AL will get the Baron. They'll extend their gold lead to about 3k. While this is happening, Masu is pushing through bot, but AL wrests control of the game out of FlyQuest's hands. TP coming out as well to stop the chance of Masu even taking that tower, as he is forced away by Flandre.
See if they can, yeah, here's another look at it. So again, like this comp is so much for burst damage, so they can try and get their reset. And let's look at the focus. They do get over, they combo most of it, they go for the feast to soften them up, but look at that. Inspired did get to move right after the ult in, and then the flash out meant no extra kill.
I'd have to watch it again, but I think Whippo was Chain of Corruption just outside of feast range. So he couldn't get the feast onto Kyle because he was just outside of range. I'd have to rewatch it, but obviously someone can rewind the YouTube video. And if you get that initial reset onto Kyle, maybe then Inspire can take over the fight with the Unbreakable, with the Winter's Bite. But very close affair until obviously AL were able to turn that fight in their favor. Now, there's a lot of standing gold on the map for them as well, only taking 2 towers so far, both of those in the mid lane. Means if they do want to play through these sides, there's a lot of gold in those turrets to be claimed.
All right, well, frame by frame, we got to see if we can get that big chunk of burst damage down if they want to get their reset, but yeah, with the Baron buff, that has got to be lots of extra pressure here. The 4-1 split push, Sion easily able over to usher up the mid lane as well. So here comes the fortress, here comes the siege. Wait, they're making a 2-member move over towards Flandre. Looks like they do call it off. Again, investing a lot, you know, into the second Lord Doms here for Inspired. So FlyQuest clear are like, hey, we are going to do our burst comp through whatever frontline member is furthest engaged.
Yeah.
And just
if it works, it works.
If it works, it works. Just try and full send and try and get your chains going. If it doesn't,
oh, Chain of Corruption going down onto Whippo. There's the Sun Disc as well as AL will just gain control of this top side, using their ultimates pretty freely there to make sure that they could take that tier 2. They want to reset and go down towards that bottom side. For the moment, FlyQuest have been able to withstand a little bit of this storm. Unstoppable Onslaught coming out from Flandre, just clearing the wave, making sure that FlyQuest can't get any gold for themselves. So objective bounties, so those towers obviously would give them a little bit of a gold infusion.
Yeah, AL have been so good with their economy here, looking after each wave, keeping their income really, really high here. So many stacks there for Flandre. Keeping their carries very strong. Hope almost the 2,000 individual gold lead over his counterpart with that Poke Varus.
Yeah, Kyle with 1,000 gold lead as well. Yes, it's talking about the important champions.
Support wallet diff.
Building up towards that second item. Next Drake is a minute and a half away. It would be Soul for AL. I think Chem Soul doesn't matter too much in a game like this, but obviously really nice to have an extra damage reduction.
I mean, honestly, if they are trying to go to burst you low and get someone really low real quick.
That's true. I just don't think, like, I'm at the point now where I think AL have to misplay a team fight for them to get low. You know, that's the kind of position I'm feeling for FlyQuest here. Quad Gonna pop the Ghost, get through that unsealed spellbook, run his way down towards this bottom lane and just try and clear out this wave. No real waves pushing actually for AL on the rest of the map, so Bwipo has a bit of time with that top lane tier 2, and looks like AL are just going to back away. Flandre's on his way across. There's a teleport available for Shanks if he does want a TP here, but he's going towards mid lane. Actually, that is Kyle with a TP from the unsealed spellbook. Shanks is recalling now, and FLYQUEST will be able to get themselves a little bit of gold. It's 1,000 in total for them. Shrinks that gold lead to about 2.3k.
All right, and AL down there in position, awaiting the arrival of that Dragon Soul. It's only 22 seconds away. Bwipo has teleport though. Teleport and feast are ready. But this delay means that FLYQUEST are going to have to work through some enemy territory. The approach might be fairly difficult for them. AL set up really nicely first.
They just don't really have the vision, as you say. Like, the troll ward here that Bwipo has to clean out. He is tanky enough that he can walk in a little bit, but with the Destiny coming out as well, Quad will gain a bit of vision for FLYQUEST. They have control of the mid lane wave if they want it. Tarzan looking to start up the Drake. Masu putting the damage down onto Flandre. Good knock up from the Rupture as well, as Tarzan might be able to get a flank here. Could have decoyed over the wall and then gone for the Cyclone on that backline. At the moment though, AL just have their meatballs in the front of the composition. It's all on Flandre to just stand in the way of FLYQUEST. Kyle there as well with the Unbreakable. Glacial Fissure coming out. Bwipo looking for the steal. Can just get in with that beast. Tarzan though with the Cyclone onto the backline immediately. Quad flashes away. Inspired looking for the resets. He's going to steal away the Wukong. And Flandre is almost down as well. He goes into the zombie form. The chase continues here for FLYQUEST. Bwipo and Masu trying to do everything they can. But Shanks puts up a wall. Bwipo on Shanks is a triple for Shanks. Flashes away from the Rupture. A quadra for Shanks. But he's not going to be able to find more. Bwipo trying to chase him down. The Rupture. And that's Whisker away from connecting in the end. A 4-for-4 exchange across the two teams.
Oh, the Godzilla Cho'Gath at the end. Can't chase down the last member, but we're going to have to return to this soul. We're going to have to get right back to it. Now there's going to be no feast for Bwipo, but the early resets do come out as they reapproach the soul. Okay, here's another look at it. Again, they're looking to go through the front line, so they start working on Flandre, trying to chuck him down. The Chains of Corruption went wide at the beginning, and then they go for this play from Tarzan. He jumps into the cluster, gets the triple knockup, then clones over, but Quad's able to find him for the burst damage. So they do get the first kill there. Inspired starts trying to reset, but Hope on the bottom side, you see him free firing from the bottom side, doing so much damage. Meanwhile, Shank's able to peel for himself, and it comes down to him with the Quadra. Yeah, it's
so close. It is so close for FLYQUEST in that moment.
He wasn't quite able to finish it and get back onto Shanks. Shanks Azir, that has been farming up so much this game, stood tall with the Quadra.
Still has that Seeker's Arm Guard as well. Crazy that he didn't use that in the previous sequence.
Dude, that was a lot more exciting of a fight than I thought it was going to be. Like, AL actually here on the attempt number 2 on this Dragon Soul.
Busio has the Hex Splash. He jumps in, only hits on Kyle though, and that's not really the target you want. Flandre going in with the ensemble onslaught. This Chem Soul is secured by Tarzan. Bwipo's killed off Flandre. The Inspired going for the resets. Heartbreaker's in. The Emperor's Divide once again. As Bwipo falls low, the Cyclone off the backline, and this should be it. For anyone's Legends, they find the kills they're looking for. Tarzan comes back to life. And only Masu and Quad are left alive. Masu chased out, pops the cleanse, but Shanks will pop his life and can chase him down. Tarzan going forward as well. Tarzan in the end will secure it. It was another close fight for FLYQUEST, but in the end, AL just have the superior composition.
AL so much better here. I mean, look at the Dragon though. I think that was the pressure point. This thing is sitting at 74 health, and then Tarzan autos it to finish it off. And then this time around, it's not really close for the reset chain, because look at Shanks, the peel right there for the backline. He keeps himself and Hope alive. Really critical plays in back-to-back fights from Shanks.
MasterCard priceless moment of the game there for AL. They secure the Chem Soul. They'll get the Baron off the back of it as well. And although FLYQUEST fought valiantly, fought with all their might around that Chem Soul, now with a 5,000 gold lead and Baron, AL should be able to push in towards these inhibitors. FLYQUEST will have to find something pretty special to fight back.
Yeah. See if they can do it. I mean, just again, keep looking for your reset comp to, reset off of some sort of frontline kill member.
I mean, it's worked, right? Inspired so close in that first soul fight to getting the kill onto Shanks, and if he gets that, it's an entirely different state of affairs.
They can't really do it anymore because Shanks got his arm guard here. This Azir is so strong. Meanwhile, you've got your spell shield for hope, so let's see. AL with the power of this soul at their back too does so much to ward off this burst combo from coming through.
Chain of Corruption going down alongside the Cyclone. TP coming in as well from Flandres. He looks to join the fight. Britbo falls though, and that's your tank dead for the next minute. AL now with the Baroned up minions can push in for these inhibitor towers. FlyQuest are going to cede control of it. Inhibitor in the mid lane raised to the ground by AL. Masu sidestepping the piercing arrow there, but anyone's legend look for the win. Seems like it. They have one cannon minion wave to work off. Flandre stepping forward. No damage really to the Nexus towers yet. Now Hope rectifies that. Tarzan jumps onto Inspired, who still has the GA. Flandre tanking up the tower. GA coming out for Inspired, but the collapse begins. Chain of Corruption just short. Busio goes in with a knockup, but AL continue to push forward. Busio down. Tarzan dodges away. Masu secures him, but he falls for it. The Nexus in their eyes. AL will go one game away from cleaning out the series.
AL.